Ladies and gentlemen, life has a funny way of putting us in tight spots. You know what I'm talking about? Those moments when the walls feel like they're closing in, when the weight of the world seems to rest squarely on your shoulders. It's in those moments that we find out who we really are. It's in those moments that we discover what we're made of. So today, I want to talk about moving forward when the odds are stacked against you. Here are 7 key notes to remember when you're in a tight spot. Life has a way of testing us, of pushing us to our limits, and sometimes it feels like the universe is conspiring to keep us down. But here's the truth. The struggle is not your enemy. It's not something to fear or avoid. In fact, the struggle is one of the greatest teachers you'll ever have. It's in those moments of difficulty, when everything feels like it's falling apart, that you discover who you really are. You see, comfort doesn't change you. It doesn't force you to grow. It's the challenges, the tight spots, the moments when you're stretched beyond what you think you can handle that shape you into the person you're meant to become. Think about it. When was the last time you learned something valuable from an easy situation? Probably never. It's the hard times that teach you resilience. They show you what you're made of. They force you to dig deep, to find strength you didn't even know you had. And when you come out on the other side, you're not the same person who went in. You're stronger, wiser, and more capable. That's the power of the struggle. It's not just an obstacle, it's an opportunity to grow, to evolve, to become better than you were before. But here's the thing, you have to be willing to embrace it. You can't run from it, and you can't hide from it. You have to face it head on. You have to lean into it even when it hurts. Because the more you resist, the harder it becomes. The struggle is like a wave in the ocean. If you try to fight it, it will knock you down. But if you dive into it, if you let it carry you, it will take you to places you never thought possible. That's the mindset you need. You have to see the struggle not as a punishment, but as a pathway to something greater, something bigger than yourself. And let's be real, embracing the struggle isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. It's painful. There will be days when you want to give up, when you feel like you can't go on. But those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days that define you. Because anyone can keep going when things are easy. It's when things are hard that true character is revealed. It's when things are hard that you find out what you're really made of. And here's the secret. You're stronger than you think. You're more capable than you realize. The struggle is just there to remind you of that. So when life throws you into a tight spot, don't panic, don't despair. Instead, take a deep breath and remind yourself that this is where the magic happens. This is where you grow. This is where you become the person you were always meant to be. Lean into the struggle. Let it teach you. Let it shape you. Let it mold you into someone who can handle anything life throws your way. Because the truth is, the struggle doesn't last forever. But the lessons it teaches you, the strength it gives you, the person it helps you become, that lasts a lifetime. When you find yourself in a tight spot, it's easy to get overwhelmed. The walls feel like they're closing in, the pressure mounts, and every step forward seems like an uphill battle. In those moments, it's natural to focus on the obstacles, the challenges, the things standing in your way. But here's the thing, if you spend all your time looking at the walls, you'll never see the door. That's why it's so important to keep your eyes on the goal. The goal is your North Star, your guiding light, the thing that keeps you moving forward, even when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. The goal is what gives you direction. It's what keeps you from getting lost in the chaos. When you're in a tight spot, it's easy to lose sight of why you started in the first place. The noise of the struggle can drown out your purpose. And before you know it, you're just reacting to whatever life throws at you. But when you keep your eyes on the goal, you stay focused. You remember what you're fighting for. You remember why you're pushing through the pain, the discomfort, the uncertainty. And that clarity, that sense of purpose, is what keeps you going. Think about it. When you're in the middle of a storm, you don't focus on the wind and the rain. You focus on getting to safety. You focus on the destination. The same principle applies to life. When you're in a tight spot, you can't afford to get distracted by the chaos around you. You have to stay focused on where you're headed, because the tighter the spot, the more important it is to have a clear vision of what you're working toward. The goal is your anchor. It's what keeps you grounded when everything else feels like it's spinning out of control. But keeping your eyes on the goal isn't just about staying focused. It's also about staying motivated, let's be honest. When you're in a tight spot, it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to feel like giving up. But when you have a clear goal in mind, it gives you something to fight for. It gives you a reason to keep going, even when the odds are stacked against you. The goal is what fuels your determination. It's what reminds you that the struggle is worth it, that the pain is temporary, that the reward on the other side is greater than the challenges you're facing right now. And here's the thing. The goal doesn't have to be some grand, life-changing ambition. It can be something small, something simple. It can be getting through the day. It can be taking one step forward. It can be making it to the next milestone. The size of the goal doesn't matter. What matters is that it's meaningful to you. What matters is that it gives you something to strive for. Because when you have something to strive for, you have a reason to keep moving forward. You have a reason to keep fighting. So when you find yourself in a tight spot, don't lose sight of the goal. Don't let the challenges distract you from what really matters. Keep your eyes on the prize. Let it guide you, let it motivate you, let it remind you why you started in the first place. Because the tighter the spot, the more important it is to stay focused. The tighter the spot, the more important it is to remember where you're headed. And when you keep your eyes on the goal, you'll find that even the tightest spots have a way of opening up. You'll find that even the hardest challenges can be overcome. Because when you know where you're going, nothing can stop you from getting there. Life rarely goes according to plan. No matter how carefully you prepare, how meticulously you map out your path, there will always be unexpected twists and turns. And when you find yourself in a tight spot, that's when your ability to adapt and improvise becomes your greatest asset. Rigidity will break you. Stubbornly sticking to a plan that no longer works will only lead to frustration and failure. But if you can adapt, if you can think on your feet and find new ways to move forward, you'll not only survive, you'll thrive. Adapting isn't about giving up on your goals, it's about being flexible in how you achieve them. It's about recognizing that the path you're on might not be the only path or even the best path to get where you want to go. When you're in a tight spot, you have to be willing to pivot. You have to be willing to let go of what's not working and try something new. It's not about abandoning your vision. It's about finding creative ways to bring that vision to life, even when the circumstances aren't ideal. Improvisation is the art of making the most of what you have. It's about looking at the resources, tools, and opportunities available to you and figuring out how to use them in new and innovative ways. When you're in a tight spot, you might not have everything you need to move forward in the way you originally planned, but that doesn't mean you're stuck. It just means you have to get creative. It means you have to think outside the box, to see possibilities where others see dead ends. Improvisation is about turning limitations into opportunities. It's about finding a way even when there doesn't seem to be one. Think about some of the greatest successes in history. Many of them came from moments of improvisation. People who were faced with challenges, setbacks, and obstacles, but instead of giving up, they adapted. They found new ways to solve problems, new ways to achieve their goals. They didn't let the tight spot define them, they redefined the tight spot. And that's what you have to do. You have to be willing to shift your approach, to try new things, to experiment and take risks, because sometimes the only way out of a tight spot is to create a new path. But adapting and improvising isn't just about solving problems, it's also about staying open to new possibilities. When you're in a tight spot, it's easy to get tunnel vision. It's easy to focus so much on the obstacle in front of you that you miss the opportunities around you. But when you're willing to adapt, when you're willing to improvise, you open yourself up to new ideas, new perspectives, new ways of thinking. You start to see the world differently. You start to see possibilities where others see only problems. And that shift in perspective can be the key to moving forward. Of course, adapting and improvising isn't always easy. It requires courage. It requires a willingness to let go of control, to step into the unknown, to embrace uncertainty. It requires you to trust yourself, to believe that you have what it takes to figure things out, even when the path ahead isn't clear. But here's the thing, you do have what it takes. You have the creativity, the resourcefulness, the resilience to adapt and improvise. You just have to be willing to use it. So when you find yourself in a tight spot, don't panic. Don't get stuck in the mindset that there's only one way forward. Instead, take a step back, look at the situation from a new angle. Ask yourself, what can I do differently? What resources do I have that I'm not using? What opportunities am I missing? And then take action. Try something new. Take a risk. Because the tighter the spot, the more important it is to be flexible. The tighter the spot, the more important it is to adapt and improvise. And when you do, you'll find that even the most challenging situations can lead to incredible breakthroughs. When you're in a tight spot, the noise can be deafening. The doubts, the fears, the opinions of others, they all swirl around you, making it hard to think clearly. In those moments, it's easy to second-guess yourself, to overanalyze every decision, to look for someone else to tell you what to do. But here's the truth. The answers you're looking for are already inside you. You just have to trust your instincts. Your instincts are your inner compass, your built-in guidance system, the voice that knows what's right for you, even when your mind is clouded with uncertainty. And when you learn to trust that voice, you'll find that it can guide you through even the tightest spots. Your instincts are the sum of all your experiences, all your knowledge, all your intuition. They're not random or arbitrary. They're the result of everything you've learned and everything you've been through. When you trust your instincts, you're tapping into that wealth of wisdom. You're drawing on the lessons you've learned, the challenges you've overcome, the successes you've achieved. Your instincts are like a muscle. The more you use them, the stronger they become. And the more you trust them, the more reliable they are. But trusting your instincts isn't always easy. It requires courage. It requires you to quiet the noise around you and listen to that quiet, steady voice inside. It requires you to let go of the need for certainty, to embrace the unknown, to take a leap of faith, and that can be scary. It's much easier to rely on logic, on data, on the opinions of others. But here's the thing. Logic and data can only take you so far. They can't account for the nuances, the complexities, the unpredictability of life. That's where your instincts come in. They fill in the gaps. They help you navigate the gray areas. They guide you when the path ahead isn't clear. Think about the times in your life when you've trusted your instincts. Maybe it was a decision you made that didn't make sense to anyone else, but felt right to you. Maybe it was a moment when you followed your gut, even though you couldn't explain why. And chances are those decisions worked out. Not because you got lucky, but because your instincts knew what was best for you. They knew what you needed, even when you didn't. And that's the power of trusting your instincts. They have a way of cutting through the noise and leading you to the right path. Of course, trusting your instincts doesn't mean ignoring logic or dismissing the advice of others. It's about finding a balance. It's about using your instincts as one piece of the puzzle, alongside reason and input from others. But when push comes to shove, when you're in a tight spot and you need to make a decision, your instincts should be your guiding force. Because at the end of the day, no one knows you better than you do. No one knows what's best for you better than you do. And your instincts are the expression of that inner wisdom. So when you find yourself in a tight spot, don't ignore that gut feeling. Don't dismiss that inner voice. Instead, take a moment to listen. Tune out the noise and tune into yourself. Ask yourself, what feels right? What aligns with who I am and what I want? Because your instincts are there for a reason. They're there to guide you, to protect you, to lead you to where you need to be. And when you learn to trust them, you'll find that even the tightest spots become easier to navigate. You'll find that you have everything you need to move forward right there inside you. When you're in a tight spot, the people around you matter more than ever. They can either lift you up or drag you down. They can either help you find a way forward or keep you stuck in the same place. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with the right people. People who believe in you, who challenge you, who inspire you to be your best self. The right people can make all the difference when you're facing challenges. They can provide support, guidance, and encouragement when you need it most. They can help you see possibilities where you only see obstacles. They can remind you of your strength when you feel like giving up. The right people are those who genuinely care about you and your success. They're not just there for the good times, they're there for the tough times too. They're the ones who will stand by you when things get hard, who will offer a listening ear or a helping hand when you need it. They're the ones who will tell you the truth even when it's hard to hear because they want to see you grow. These are the people who will push you to be better, who will challenge you to step out of your comfort zone and reach for more. They're the ones who will celebrate your wins with you, but also help you learn from your losses. But surrounding yourself with the right people isn't just about finding those who support you. It's also about distancing yourself from those who drain you. Negative, toxic, or unsupportive people can make a tight spot feel even tighter. They can amplify your doubts, feed your fears, and hold you back from moving forward. It's not always easy to let go of these people, especially if they've been in your life for a long time. But when you're in a tight spot, you can't afford to have anyone in your corner who doesn't truly have your best interests at heart. You need people who will lift you up, not weigh you down. The right people also bring different perspectives and strengths to the table. No one has all the answers, and no one can do everything on their own. When you surround yourself with a diverse group of people with different skills, experiences, and ways of thinking, you open yourself up to new ideas and solutions. They can help you see things you might have missed, offer advice you might not have considered, and provide support in ways you might not have thought of. They can help you navigate the tight spot with more clarity and confidence because they bring their own unique strengths to the situation. And let's not forget the power of accountability. The right people will hold you accountable to your goals and your values. They'll remind you of what's important when you get distracted or discouraged. They'll push you to keep going even when you feel like giving up. They'll call you out when you're not being true to yourself or when you're settling for less than you deserve. This kind of accountability is invaluable, especially when you're in a tight spot and it's easy to lose sight of what really matters. But surrounding yourself with the right people isn't just about what they can do for you. It's also about what you can do for them. Relationships are a two-way street. The right people will inspire you to be a better friend, partner, or colleague in return. They'll challenge you to show up for them in the same way they show up for you. And in doing so, you'll create a network of mutual support and encouragement that can help everyone move forward, even in the toughest of times. So, when you find yourself in a tight spot, take a look at the people around you. Are they lifting you up or holding you back? Are they helping you grow or keeping you stuck? Surround yourself with those who bring out the best in you, who challenge you to be better, and who remind you of your strength and potential. Because when you have the right people by your side, even the tightest spots become easier to navigate. You'll find that you're not alone, that you have a team of supporters who believe in you and want to see you succeed. And with that kind of support, there's no tight spot you can't overcome. When you're in a tight spot, the difference between giving up and breaking through often comes down to one thing: relentlessness. It's the refusal to quit no matter how hard things get. It's the determination to keep going even when every step feels like a struggle. It's the mindset that says, I will not be defeated. Staying relentless isn't about being the strongest or the smartest or the most talented. It's about being the most persistent. It's about showing up day after day and doing whatever it takes to move forward, even when the odds are stacked against you. Forgetting the mindset, whenever it takes to move forward, even when the odds are stacked against you. Relentlessness is what turns obstacles into opportunities. It's what transforms setbacks into stepping stones. When you're relentless, you don't see failure as the end, you see it as feedback. You learn from it, you adjust, and you keep going. You understand that progress isn't always linear. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But as long as you're moving, as long as you're making even the smallest bit of progress, you're still in the game. And as long as you're in the game, there's always a chance to win. But staying relentless isn't easy. It requires grit, it requires resilience, it requires a deep, unshakable belief in yourself and your ability to overcome. There will be moments when you want to quit. There will be moments when the weight of the struggle feels too heavy to bear, but those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments when you have to dig deep and find that extra ounce of strength, that extra bit of determination to keep going. Because the truth is, the only way to fail is to give up. As long as you're still fighting, you're still in it. And as long as you're still in it, there's always hope. Relentlessness is also about focus. It's about keeping your eyes on the prize and not letting distractions or setbacks derail you. When you're in a tight spot, it's easy to get sidetracked by the noise, the doubts, the fears, the naysayers. But when you're relentless, you tune out the noise and stay focused on what matters. You stay committed to your goal no matter how far away it seems. You understand that every step, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to where you want to be. And that focus, that unwavering commitment, is what keeps you moving forward. It's also important to remember that being relentless doesn't mean you have to do it all alone. It's okay to lean on others for support, to ask for help when you need it, to draw strength from those around you. Relentlessness isn't about being a lone wolf. It's about being resourceful. It's about using every tool, every resource, every bit of support available to you to keep moving forward. And sometimes that means relying on the people who believe in you, who encourage you, who remind you of your strength when you feel like giving up. But at the end of the day, relentlessness comes from within. It's a mindset, a way of approaching life. It's the decision to keep going no matter what. It's the belief that you have what it takes to overcome any obstacle, to rise above any challenge, to achieve any goal. And that belief, that determination, is what sets relentless people apart. They don't wait for things to get easier, they get stronger. They don't wait for the perfect moment, they create it. They don't let fear or doubt stop them, they use it as fuel to keep going. So, when you find yourself in a tight spot, don't give up. Don't let the struggle defeat you. Instead, stay relentless, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep moving forward. Remember that every step, no matter how small, is progress. Remember that every challenge, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity to grow. And remember that as long as you're still in the game, there's always a chance to win. Because when you stay relentless, there's no tight spot you can't break free from. There's no obstacle you can't overcome. And there's no goal you can't achieve. When you're in a tight spot, it's easy to feel like the odds are against you. The challenges seem insurmountable. The obstacles feel too big and the path forward looks impossibly steep. In those moments, it's natural to doubt yourself, to wonder if you have what it takes to make it through. But here's the thing, the possibility of victory begins with belief. It begins with the conviction that no matter how hard things get, no matter how impossible they seem, there's always a way forward. Believing in the possibility of victory isn't just about optimism. It's about creating the mental and emotional foundation you need to keep going, even when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. Belief is a powerful force. It's the spark that ignites action, the fuel that keeps you moving forward. When you believe in the possibility of victory, you tap into a reservoir of strength and determination that you didn't even know you had. You start to see opportunities where others see only obstacles. You start to find solutions where others see only problems. Belief shifts your perspective. It helps you see that the tight spot you're in isn't the end of the road, it's just a bend in the road. And around that bend, there's a way forward, there's a path to victory. But you have to believe it's there. You have to believe it's possible. Of course, believing in the possibility of victory isn't always easy, especially when the evidence seems to suggest otherwise. When you're in a tight spot, it's easy to focus on all the reasons why you might fail. It's easy to let fear and doubt creep in and cloud your vision. But here's the truth. Belief isn't about ignoring the challenges or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them and then choosing to focus on the possibility of overcoming them. It's about reminding yourself that you've faced challenges before and come out stronger on the other side. It's about trusting that you have what it takes to do it again. Belief also has a way of becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you believe in the possibility of victory, you act differently. You take risks, you push harder, you keep going, even when it feels like you've hit a wall. And those actions, that persistence, increases your chances of success. On the other hand, if you don't believe victory is possible, you're more likely to give up at the first sign of difficulty. You're more likely to settle for less than you deserve. That's why belief is so important. It's not just a feeling, it's a mindset. And that mindset shapes your actions, which in turn shape your outcomes. But belief isn't something that just happens. It's something you have to cultivate. It's something you have to nurture, especially when you're in a tight spot. One way to do that is to focus on your past successes. Think about the times when you've overcome challenges, when you've defied the odds, when you've achieved something you didn't think was possible. Those moments are proof that you have what it takes to succeed. They're reminders that victory is possible, even when it feels out of reach. Another way to cultivate belief is to surround yourself with people who believe in you. Their confidence in you can help bolster your confidence in yourself, especially when you're struggling to find it. Belief also requires you to let go of the need for certainty. You don't have to know exactly how you're going to win. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to believe that you'll find a way. That belief gives you the courage to take the first step, even when you can't see the whole path. It gives you the resilience to keep going, even when the road gets tough. And it gives you the hope that no matter how dark things seem, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So when you find yourself in a tight spot, don't let doubt take over. Don't let fear convince you that victory is impossible. Instead, believe in the possibility of victory. Believe that you have what it takes to overcome the challenges in front of you. Believe that there's a way forward, even if you can't see it yet. Because when you believe in the possibility of victory, you open yourself up to opportunities, to solutions, to breakthroughs. You give yourself the chance to rise above the tight spot and come out stronger on the other side. And that belief, that unwavering faith in the possibility of victory is what will carry you through.